Hello, my name is Michael Risk. Welcome to Expanding Capacity. I guess I'd have to say that if you're checking with me every day, but I just assume that no one's watching and everyone's watching for the first time. So we're going to wrap up this week with the lunging sequence. We're going to focus specifically on the shoulder's role during lunging. Definitely something that we don't really think of when we're lunging. Is what the shoulder's function is. But if the shoulder is limited and the lunge places a particular demand on our body and we can't accommodate, the motion's going to have to come from somewhere else. That's the thing that's probably bothering you. That could be your low back, that could be your knees. I've seen it countless times now. So it's not like, is it true? It's not a matter of if, but like when it's going to happen. All right. So in any event, let's get into it. We're going to start with just a little bit of breathing, just to center ourselves. We're going to do a couple litmus tests. We'll do something constructive and come back and see how it all worked. All right, a few deep breaths in through the nose. All right, let's get to it. So the first thing we'll do is a posture scan. We'll just stand with feet about hip width apart and just pay attention to the position of your shoulders. They rounded, neutral, or chest out. I'm definitely in a more neutral toward chest out posture. All right, let's go through our lunge matrix to assess our side-by-side capacity differences. We're going to start by holding with the right hand, left leg lunging. And just get a sense of how well that foot connects to the ground. And then how well it connects to the ground is often revealed by how efficient the pushback is. All right, so let's go now the other side. And I'm really surprised how far along this right leg came just within these 5 days. It's pretty cool. Alternate sides. All right, so when we take this step forward and collapse into the ground, that's referred to as loading. And then when we push back, that's exploding, or you could say unloading, but it's load to explode. And so the quality of the load, the connection, is going to dictate the quality of the explode, the pushback. All right, let's go into the frontal plane now. Hands on the wall, left foot steps to the left. Let the hips slide toward the lunging foot. Assess the quality of that connection. Other side. What's really nice here is earlier in the week, I noticed when I lunged to my right, my left hip wasn't dropping, and it is now. Okay, alternating. And that's the cool thing. Like when you're taking a whole body approach, you're bound to really identify the limitations because we're assessing them in all three planes. So we have the 5 major joint complexes, and then we're assessing them in all three planes. So now we're going to go right hand holding, left leg lunging back to the left, rotational. So you just open up, let the weight transition to the lunging foot, and then return. And then we can switch that over, left hand holding, right leg lunging. And then alternating sides. So whichever side you alternate to, just allow that hand to follow the lunging foot. You can look the eyes, you can let them follow, you can keep your eyes, whatever you're holding on to. They create different reactions in the body. One's not better than the other. They're just different. And I would say both are good to explore. Okay, so we've got our litmus test. Now we're going to dive into the shoulders. And essentially there's the portion of lunge that we're going to focus on is when actually the arms actually have to move a little bit away from the body in all three planes of motion. Okay, so what we're going to do is, well, imagine I'm grabbing onto something here, right? What we're actually going to do is we're going to step our, let's say if I'm holding on with my right hand, I'm going to step my right foot back just like so. All right, so even though we do want to improve the quality of the forward lunge, in order to get the shoulder motion that the shoulder actually normally goes through with the lunge, we actually do a backward step to do that. You wouldn't know that unless you studied the mechanics of it, but I didn't know that all that long ago either. So, all All right, so you're just going to grab on. Let's go left. I always go left side first, right? Left hand holding. You're going to take a small step back with the left foot and just let the hips slide back to wherever they naturally go. Do not force the movement. All right, the goal isn't to get a huge stretch at the shoulder. Like I feel some stretching right around my shoulder blade, but it's not intense, and I'm just going right to where the body says stop, or where the body starts resisting the movement. So you might go through a small range of motion and kind of feel like you're not doing anything. Totally fine. Totally fine. All right, let's hold the next one. Hold. Now we're just going to pulse with the hips. Okay, and so this is just to kind of define where exactly is your threshold. Where's that boundary? And as you're sitting back into that heel, sliding the hips back, you're probably feeling your left glute right now. 2, 1. Okay, let's switch that over. Right hand holding, right foot's going to do a lunge backward. And then the 2 points that you can measure here, I didn't mention on the other side, is the distance between the holding hand and the heel of the lunging foot. Okay, so the distance between those 2 points reveals your shoulder capacity, as well as other things. Let's go a couple more here. I'm going just to where I kind of feel a gentle stretch. All right, right there, hold it, and then ready, we're going to pulse. Now, of course, you can have other limitations in your body that are limiting this motion, but we're specifically focused on the shoulders. 2, 1. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to move in the frontal plane. And so when we lunge, the arm actually moves slightly away from the body. It's not like we don't lunge and do that. You could, right? But the arms are doing that biomechanically with every lunge that we would take, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to hold on to something fixed with the right hand, and then we're going to step to the left, okay? So as we allow the hips to slide to the left, the arm is obviously moving away from the body, and then we get that lengthening through the shoulder. All right, so the measurement you want to take is the distance between your right hand and your left lunging foot. Okay, so right at the very end of the movement, before you turn directions and come back, that's your threshold. Okay, so you hold that now, and we're just going to pulse. 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now we're going to switch. We can compare it to the other side. Distance between the holding hand and the lunging foot. Ready? And I have significantly less motion here. All right, it's actually so limited that it almost feels like I can really hardly get any weight on that lunging foot. So I can just get a little closer to my arm. To whatever, if you have a hard time lunging out because there's stiffness in the shoulder, just move closer to your hand. Because it's better that we go through some motion, because it's the motion that turns on the muscles and initiates the healing process. Let's go one more here and hold. Okay, now we're just going to pulse. Now you could hold on with the other hand as well, just for a little extra stability. And it will help your nervous system prioritize creating more mobility, more range of motion. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now in the last plane of motion, we're going to go through rotation. All right. So you're going to be holding on with your right hand. I'll show this angle will probably be best. And what I'm going to do my lunge. And so as I do my lunge back to the left, it's moving my right arm away from my body. All right. So, you would probably say I'd feel a pec stretch here, and so do I, but I'm just focused on primarily what's happening at the joint. Because if I know what joint motion's occurring, I know which muscles are going to be stimulated. I know which nerves are going to be innervated. Okay, and you'll see, obviously, I'm letting this other hand kind of go back with me. I'm going to go one more here. I'm going to hold it. Ready? And now pulse. 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, feels good. Okay, so now we're going to go left hand holding, right leg lunging. And from here, same thing, much more limitation here. So the lunge isn't going to be as big. I'm just going to have a kind of a little bit of a baby arm swing here. Kind of feels like I'm not doing much of anything, but I feel some motion occurring at the joint, and that's what matters. You may have heard the phrase, motion's lotion. Clients recommended back in the day that I get that.com, but thought it might attract the wrong visitors. A couple more here. I'm loosening up a little bit, but only because I'm respecting my threshold. All right, there we have it. So we just mobilized our shoulders in 3 planes of motion. We now want to go back. The proof's in the pudding. Did the lunge become more efficient? Let's check. Right hand holding. Okay, let's start with the left leg lunge for 5. I mean, I can already tell, that I have a much smoother contact. Now, listen, part of that could be the fact that we're getting in lots of repetition. Could be, right? But the reality is, if you have a joint limitation, you're not going to free it up significantly with lots of repetition. Let's go to the other side. You're not going to free it up so much that the limitation doesn't exist. It's still going to be there. So for the small number of repetitions that we did, to get this type of effect where the body just has a very positive response, it's clearly related. Okay, let's alternate sides. And again, this is one of those things where if you're inside of your own practice and you're experimenting with these movements often, my posture is just, I almost feel like I'm always overly exaggerating my posture, but I don't even think about it. All right, so now let's go to our lunge, our lateral lunge, left leg to the left. Even this morning, I was with my family and they're like, wow, you're standing really upright. And compared to everyone around me, I was, but I'm not trying to do that. That's just the result of this work. Let's go to the right now. I'm getting much further out and much deeper down here. Much further out, much deeper down, naturally, without forcing it. Okay, let's alternate sides. And this is from doing those very subtle movements. All right, so this is, we're playing more of like a sophisticated game. We're not trying to, we're not subscribing to the bigger, faster, stronger. There's nothing wrong with that. And listen, if you're going to be a football player, absolutely, got to go down that path. All right, but we never abandon our fundamental movement health because that's the foundation of fitness. All right, so let's go right hand holding, left leg lunging. Also really good here. Feel myself going deeper. And that's how because I was self-selecting. I just stepped out and I just kind of saw what I had. My body's really determining, let's go the other way. My brain determines how far out I step, how deep I lunge down, based on the capacity or resources that I have at all of the joints. Then I go through a routine like this. Now let's alternate. And now I notice a considerable difference. I'm still just self-selecting the movement. I'm not saying, hey, let me see if I can get out further. I'm just doing the movement like I did earlier, but now I clearly have more capacity. 2 more per side here. Just so you know, my counting is approximate. All right, so let's go to eyes closed. Now I was kind of like neutral to chest out. Now I'm very chest out. Again, feels like an exaggeration. I'm just going to take let's take 3 breaths, 1 for mind, 1 for body, 1 for spirit, to honor ourselves as a whole person. Ready? Rest is our natural state. 1 for body. Rest is our natural state. 1 for spirit. Rest is our natural state. So a couple things I'll just point out as we wrap up here. One is the imbalances that you notice, left versus right. Those are the root cause of stiffness, pain, and discomfort. So the most important thing is to resolve those imbalances. That's exactly what we show you how to do at Expanding Capacity. Come check us out, school.com/expanding capacity. And then the second thing is our members, I'm actually going to go with and connect with them in a call after this. We're probably going to go through more details of this routine. We'll experiment with some things. We'll troubleshoot. We'll just BS do life together. So, all right. Thanks for being here. I will see you next week for our next movement theme. Don't know what it is, but it's going to be good. See ya.